You saw the person who was like, whatever Eric's got in that cup, I'm having it. They like the attitude, man. So we're going to do something a little different here today. We're going to go when to take Social Security. We'll discuss some of that maybe on the surface. We're going to answer some questions.
A lot of questions. I posted a video. We got a lot of questions from viewers. We're going to answer, so stick around for those.
And then we're going to have Chris come in and give us an exact example of the Social Security breakdown and when to take it, when not to. First of all, you know how they say 40 credits? Yep. You're going to have 40 credits to get Social Security. Let's do a trivia question, because I would have guessed one number higher.
Okay.
How many credits can you earn in 1 year towards Social Security?
You got to work 10 years. It's 4 credits.
4 credits, 10 years. You can earn up to 4 per year. So this year it's like 1730. For every 1730 that you make, you get a credit up to 4 credits. I always thought it was 5. I had it stuck in my head. It was 5. So
show me 4.
So you got
it was 4.
You know what I mean?
See,
I should have gone with what I knew.
That answer.
Why 5? It's never 5. Also, full retirement age, right? So the common question that I get, people think, well, I could take it Social Security at 62 and change, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're lowering your benefit there. Full retirement age, or if you see FRA, it's not the same for everybody because it depends on when you were born, but basically it's right around 66, 67, depending on your age. And for most people that are probably watching this, it's 67.
Yeah.
That's the full retirement age. Now, the next part of it is age 70, right? So
up to age 70. You got 67 to 70. You can actually take it anytime in those 3 years too.
Yep. So you get your biggest benefit up to age 70. But that's what they say. Like when somebody says, I'm taking Social Security, or if you see us planning, right? And we go, oh, they're going to take it at 63 in 6 months or whatever. Yeah. That's why that's the answer. There's that gap, that window of range there. But depending on when you take it, you get the lower benefit there.
And you got an 8% increase for every year you delay past full retirement age, which is massive.
Could be.
Though, Chris will come in to present some things there. There's things to definitely think about. I mean, the one that I always talk to with clients is really, more than anything, your health.
Health. That is the number one thing that comes up. And I've had clients, actually, there's one in particular I'm thinking of in Chicago that he's like, health is not good.
Yeah.
Comes right out with it. I've never met him, but that's a big consideration there. He's taken early Social Security.
I got one that was 65, going to be 67, 2 years. They were planning 67 full retirement age, and they basically, after the conversation we had, I think what you have to look at is, and what we looked at with this situation, they had enough money saved. Social Security wasn't going to affect it if they went ahead and took it early, because their health was not the best and they didn't think they were going to live to the break even. But if you have to still, even though you're in bad health, think about, well, I may run out of money. I'm going to at least need the Social Security. I get that you paid into it, but you've also got to think the long-term game. I mean, unless you how many people were diagnosed with something and say, hey, things aren't good, but they continue to live another 10 or 15 years. Have you ever heard of the people? I've got a really good, well, I probably shouldn't, maybe they won't pinpoint it, but really good friend of mine. His a family member got diagnosed with terminal cancer. Ooh. So instead of saying, hey, I'm going to make sure my spouse is taken care of and take care of everything, they went on a spending spree and just racked up massive amounts of credit card debt, and then ended up living what they said was like 6 months left, lived for like another 8 years, dude.
Oh, no.
So it's like, I mean, it's not a funny thing, but
it's funny now, I guess.
It's just, wow, what a mess. What a mess.
That can happen. Yeah. Well, you also, the Social Security's website is really good for the individual. And I usually point clients that way, because if you're of that age, right, and you're not like 21, you go on there and you can actually prove it's you, and they'll tell you your current expected benefits, and then show the whole breakdown. That's really helpful for planning, instead of just guessing like, oh, this is the national average. So don't be afraid to go to that website. Really good information.
SSA.gov.
SSA.gov.
Yep.
You have some questions, Mr.
Man, I got a lot of questions. And so remember, like as we said in the format, stick around. Chris is going to jump in and actually show some things with Social Security on his thoughts there. I'm curious to see what his thoughts are.
Right, Chris?
That's right. All right. First question, I'll let you take this one. Are money markets mostly invested in treasuries? If so, would you consider money market funds a bond investment? If not, why? That's all one question, technically. Are money markets invested in treasuries?
They don't have to be, but they are. Short-term treasuries, corporate bonds, muni bonds, all on the short-term duration. That's how they get to their ultimate tranche of investments that they have. But yeah, there's no...
Is it a bond?
It's
would you consider it a bond investment?
All right. So why? I think what they may be saying is it a bond investment where if I'm using some third-party software and it says stocks and bonds, right? Would it count inside of there? It should not be. It should be counted as other, right? It's not a bond.
Or cash.
It could be counted as cash. Yeah. In our platform, unless it's in an account that we have linked up, it tends to show up as other.
Yeah.
So, no, it's a cash vehicle. It's not a bond. It's not gonna. You're not going to find that it changes value. You put 100,000 in, and all of a sudden there's some fluctuation in the price, and it goes to 99,000. That's not going to be the case.
Yeah. So, and I think too, going back to this question on my video was a 60-40 allocation, somewhat what I was talking of in this video where this question came from. And so to give you an idea, short term, yes, you could consider part of your money market as part of that maybe 40% allocation, because really that's your fixed income. That's your fixed income that's there. Money market can give that. That's a good way to say it. So, so you can consider that, but be careful because as of today, actually recording this, Fed just lowered rates 50 basis points. Know that your money market funds are going to continue to pay less and less. So be careful not to have too much money market because eventually you're not going to get any money.
And we have a complete 180 in the move from that Fed announcement.
Oh, dude, I knew that. Yeah, it jumped. Markets jumped, and then it was already starting to pull back before we started this video. And we're all into this stuff. We're geeky around here. We're geeky. All right. So second question, I'm going to take this one is. So he said, how is the 2-bucket strategy any more complicated than the 3? I think you meant because I said the 2-bucket is more simple than the 3.
Well, the answer is there's 3 buckets. If you only have 2 buckets, that's easier than 3 buckets.
That's it. That is it. And so they kind of go into a little bit more. So I'll break this down and I'll help you to explain what our thoughts are here. If the markets are crashing like they did in 2000, 2008, et cetera, you still don't know when to move stuff or not. My argument on this whole scenario was a 3-bucket strategy is very difficult because you're going to have long-term, mid-term, short-term. Well, when you're short on cash over here in your short-term bucket, then you're going to take your midterm to your short term and your long term to your midterm. Problem is when the market falls, it's very difficult to try to figure this out on when the best time is to move this money, because if the market takes a dip and you're short on your short term money, you got a problem because now you're having to sell low. So the idea here is you take a 60-40 allocation. I'm not telling you this is the allocation you need, but in general, if you're retired, let's just say that it's 80-20 or whatever your risk needs or your goals require for you to invest. Let's say it's 80% stocks, 20% bonds. It's not a matter of, I'm going to pull from this one and move it over here and do all that. That's called a rebalance. When you rebalance is oftentimes when the market is off quite a bit. Here at Jazz, we're not big on just a quick rebalance. A lot of companies used to sell rebalancing. Hey, we're just going to rebalance every day or something. That's foolish. You're going to lose a lot of momentum play when it comes to rebalances if you just jump in and rebalance every other day. So instead, what we look for is, a massive drift from the current proper allocation before we start to consider a rebalance. On that same note, though, and you can weigh in on that too, because I know on the investment side, if you have any things to weigh in on that. But on that same note, and just giving you an idea, what you're going to look for is, let's just say you're at 60-40. Let's say the market falls. Well, now you're at 50 and 50 because it took such a hit. Well, guess what? You have 50% now allocated that's bonds. You can pull from those bonds. You're not actually just going to be shifting money back and forth on a regular basis like you would in the 3-bucket strategy. I hope that made sense. And if it did, let me know, because I know that was a lot of different talking there on that.
I've done a lot of great, actually on the Blackboard videos of the whole rebalancing concept there. What is it actually doing? And as you go through the process, so we make it a whole separate video, but yeah, you got the right point there. And then going back to the first part of his question there, it's awesome if you want to say that the 40% of the fixed income, the way he said it, includes part of the money market. Okay, wait till we go through a down move in the market and then go, okay, now it's easier to rebalance if you decide to rebalance, and you have a little extra safe cash.
Yep. And then, okay, a few more here because we got a lot of questions today. This is great. Right. I love the questions. So, the first part of this is, what is your opinion on BNDW as a bond ETF? We got to be very careful as advisors on saying, hey, we do or do not like this, and here's why. Part of that could be considered investment advice. So unfortunately, I'm going to kind of skip that part and go on to the second part of your question, which was, do you prefer U.S. only bond or world bond funds? I think that's interesting question there, because how confident are you in the U.S. government, basically. If you're buying U.S. bonds or even corporate bonds, how confident are you in America in general? On the other side of that, I think that diversification is always smart. So having a little bit of something else international is not ever a bad idea. Though historically, I mean, go America, USA.
I think that's a very safe answer. America. Very safe answer. I would say at this point in time, look at some of the tax-free municipal bonds as well, just to throw a little extra something. You said diversification. So if you're going to do that, look at the total return on a tax-free muni versus what you're getting if you're looking at like corporate bonds or something like that. So I don't know your tax brackets or where you stand, but look at the total net return on those. The spread is getting much tighter.
Well, but your muni bonds are going to allow you the opportunity to get state-free.
Some states
free on certain states, but some of that's tricky too. So there's a lot that's a whole nother video.
Let's go. Yeah, let's like rewind that. And my point of view from what I was saying there is federally, right?
Yeah.
On a federal level, the way the government treats it. Yeah, I mean, it used to be, or it was just even a couple years ago, there was no sense in investing in those, right? Because now things are changing.
And as we're going through these questions, there's so many of them. It's funny because this is the kind of stuff that Dustin and I do on a regular basis, as nerdy as that is. So This is kind of where we're just chatting. It's like, well, what about this? What about this? So you're getting basically behind the scenes of what we do on a regular basis as total finance geeks. All right. That question was actually the one that answered before. All right. Oh, I'm going to let you take this one. I know you'll love this. SCHD, Schwab Dividend Fund, correct?
Yes.
And in a Roth IRA, good, bad, meh.
Good, bad, what?
Meh.
Oh.
MEH.
Well,
Meh.
I get the popularity of this one, but it's not even the most competitive out there. Take the account out of it for a second. If you're saying, I want some sort of high dividend, diverse ETF, maybe rank that one against all of the competitors. I don't know why this one's the most popular for whatever reason, but people bring it up a lot. For me, unless you found that 100% of your entire retirement investment savings is in a Roth anyways, well, okay, well then there's an argument for it, right? Because you want to be a little diverse, and that's all you got. But I'm going to promise that probably 99.9% of the people watching this don't just have one very large Roth account, and that's all they have. So no, I wouldn't use it in a Roth because, remember, that's after-tax dollars. It's a lot more fun, too, to let that be the growth account. Mm-hmm. It's the after-tax dollars. We're not going to pay the government capital gains taxes or anything. And also, if someone's worked with you through a plan, you're going to probably find that that's the last account you're touching. So we don't want the slow dividend growth there if you can avoid it.
Great answer. Yeah, and there's no tax benefit on having dividends in a Roth IRA. And so you've done multiple videos on a growth portfolio outperforming long-term a dividend portfolio. And so there's a lot that can go into there. So just kind of giving you an idea on that one. All right, I thought there was one more question, but it looks like maybe we had a couple duplicates on there.
Is it joke time?
So what do you call a fake pasta?
An impasta.
First time ever on this show that you got it right, dude. You got it right. My wife said that yesterday. She was looking, I don't know why she was looking up dad jokes, but she said it and she thought it was so funny. So I said, I'm going to use it.
You might have used it in the past, actually.
I don't know if I have, but
I've heard it.
But either way, you did great. You did great.
Thank you.
I'll buy your lunch. I actually already bought his lunch today.
That's nice.
Hey, you just got to pay some, plain.
Well, I'm glad you're happy with me because I'm about to change that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, you can't say this stuff.
Is that not funny?
It's disgusting.
They didn't even hear it.
Can't say it. Can't say it. It's got to be blocked. It's got to be blocked.
We need to get an OnlyFans, and that's just where the jokes go. So people will, if you're paying $1, we'll make it $1 a month. If you pay $1 a month, then
I personally think that no,
you're about to hear some
stuff. The problem is like I don't even want an OnlyFans. I don't want the subscription to it. I don't want none of that because why are you going down that rabbit hole?
No, but I'm just no
OnlyFans.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's a subscription service where if someone says, I'm willing to give you $1.
Just create a Venmo, man. Tell them, you want to tell you a joke.
You know what you're going to see.
Venmo me $1.
I'll keep my clothes on. But you're going to see or hear me telling those jokes, and you're going to have a good time. And I'm not trying to make a profit out of it. I'm just trying to say, by paying this $1, you agree that anything goes. OnlyFans.
Yeah. you know, if anything goes on that, and then they screenshot that and they take that and then they play it somewhere else, and then now you got Dirty Dustin.
But with a smile on your face, everybody will be happy. Come on in, Chris. So brief little break there to get Chris in here, talk about Social Security. How you doing today, Chris?
Man, I'm doing great. Like I said, B12, COVID.
Did you like my joke?
Yeah, it was
the joke.
fantastic. I mean, you were looking at him.
Well, I like his reaction.
But you should have been looking at me.
Oh.
Because I was like, you know.
Yeah. I come with the good jokes. We got to figure out a way to keep those in the podcast, though. Okay, so we're talking about Social Security. Previously talked about, some different concepts behind it. You've got something to share with us here today. I'm ready when you are.
Absolutely. So we're going to go with Louis Armstrong. And
so this is the same one from the other day.
Same guy.
Now we're answering the question of
when should I take Social Security?
You got it.
All right. Is there an optimal time? Should I just take it as soon as possible? I'm dying to hang it up. All right. I want to replace that income because I'm worried. Right. So we'll dive into some of the facts, and then we'll run through some scenarios.
Okay.
And then we're going to run through a real fun one.
All right. I'm going to make this bigger so I can see too. Hit me.
Okay. Now I can't see it, so if
you can see yours.
I can see it here, so if you need me to
No,
change
I got you over here.
All right, so we'll kind of just do some facts first, kind of like who we're looking at, and then we'll dive into it. So Louis and the wife, Lucille, they're 54.
Okay.
Both. They're going to live until 90. Okay. They've got one child. It's 15, give or take.
Okay.
He's making like 70,000. She's making 60,000. And as of now, the plan is set, hey, we're going to take it Social Security as soon as possible.
Okay.
So they retire at 60, live on some cash. 62, they're pulling the trigger.
Okay.
Off to the sunset. So, kind of recap of the facts there. So if you wanted to see how it played out, right? So, in this particular plan for the Social Security, you've got.
All right, so we're comparing. This is basically just, hey, we'll take it at 62, right?
We're going to take it at 62, and the gray is kind of, the gray and the blue here, are obviously the same color, right? Or the same options, right? But is there a way that we can optimize the strategy, right? So, well, of course there is. So this shows them, yeah, right? I see the look on your face.
What is happening, though?
Okay. So if they live on current investments in cash from the time they retire, and instead of taking it at 62 originally, right, which is this gray blob here, and they put it off until the optimal time, which is full retirement age, well, it kicks in later in life. And because of that, they get a larger benefit.
Yeah, but why is it me? Hover over the thing. You're saying.
Which one am I hovering over here?
The first optimal strategy is 74.
74.
So take it at 74.
Yes. If you want your optimal plan.
Okay. Whoa, because how old is she?
Oh. Well, in this particular example, she's the same age. She's 54.
You'll scroll down to the bottom here.
Yeah.
Louis applies at 72.
Yep. And then she applies at 72 as well.
So that graph is just not plotting. There's just something not right there. That graph's not plotting.
Let's try to get this thing to reload here.
72.
Yeah, I don't know why it's kicking over.
That's weird.
You're weird.
Well, in this case, at least we know. So now, okay, do this then, real quick. Go to the
cash flows, right?
Yeah, let's see if the cash flows.
Yeah, let's see how it shows up on the.
Now we gotta. Oh, we already have it saved as optimal. All right, so let's.
Yeah, have it saved as optimal.
By chance, there you go. Income.
Yep, going down. See over here, it's kicking it out at 70.
Well, this is the proposal. So you might have proposed. Yeah, their current plan is 62, and if you go back to the retirement, I'm doing this like as if I can control it. Go to the top and go to the retirement analysis. So even though we proposed on the Social Security page, we got to tell the proposed plan. They'll be down at the bottom. We've got to say optimal strategy, and then this go up a little bit.
Oop. There we go.
Set to optimal strategy. Louis takes it at 70. Lucille takes it at 70 there.
Correct.
And so now we're making this part of the proposed strategy here. So hit refresh so that it saves it. There you go. And do we have any other proposals here? Nothing.
No, I
else.
didn't change much. There was a couple things in here, and then
Okay,
I kind of backed them out so we'd have apples and apples, you know.
So that's a known flaw in the thing.
I didn't catch it when I was
Yeah.
working on it this morning.
So we know that, at least now we know that, okay, everything's being accounted for, but visually on that previous page, it's just not drawing in those blue dots, or blue bars. So we know it's accurate, and we're doing 70 and 70. He ends up with, well, they end up with a little more money, right?
Yep. And something interesting here is if somebody's plan is in the 60s, right? Like the success there, what do you guys say? 60s, 70s, 80s, obviously 90s. Hey, you're not spending enough.
Yep.
You're saving too much, right? So when you're in the 60s, are we trying to keep an eye on this? Are we just, good enough?
No, for me, in this case, well, that's why I asked, had we done any other proposals? So this would be just the starting point for me. We now know where they should be Social Security-wise. However, we haven't factored in any withdrawal plans. We did that in the previous video,
Yep.
If you caught that. So we could actually go start layering strategies on top of each other here and probably get them to be a lot better, because I think I remember these guys had a improvement in their withdrawal strategy that was pretty sizable.
Correct.
So separate topic, we already covered that, but man, that sucks. We're gonna have to let them know that Social Security graph doesn't display accurately there.
Yeah, I want to go back into the the roll up of the cash there, because people like the numbers, right? If you don't like the graph, hey, what's that kind of look like?
This is my favorite part of
This is your favorite part.
I like the spreadsheet look of it all. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So current plan, hey, we're going to retire at 60, 62, we're going to pull this. All right? So you're going to get 51,000 pretty close every year. However, if you go with the optimal plan, you're going to, wow, look at that. You put it off for a couple years, live on that cash, live on some rental income, pulling from some other estimates, you're practically doubling what you're taking home.
Well, it's a long time. Yeah, that's so there's they call it the 30-24 rule, something like that. If you take Social Security at 62, your benefits are reduced by basically 30%. If you wait until not full retirement age, but age 70, all the way to age 70, you've added 24% onto your monthly benefit by the time you get to that.
Yeah.
30-24.
Well, what happens if, the real world shows up, and let's say Louis,
Dun, dun, dun.
passes away at 80, right? We got him living to 90 here, but let's just say he only lives to 80, and Mama Armstrong has got to live for another 10 years.
Yep.
So what is that going to do to the plan?
What's the adjustment there?
What is the adjustment? And does it make sense to take the spousal benefit?
In the case where he dies at 80.
In the case he dies at 80, correct.
Ooh.
So
See what you did there.
you like that?
So-
And this isn't even the fun part.
Even
this
that
is like,
chart's off.
Yeah, and this isn't even the fun part. This is just kind of a real world thing showing up here.
Lucille with her survivor benefit.
And there you go. All right. Unfortunately, at 80, Louis starts pushing daisies,
Yep.
and Lucille is going to get her own benefit, but she'll get the survivor benefit as well, and kind of keep that in line.
Like it.
Yeah.
What's the fun part? I heard you say something about
We're skipping straight to the fun part.
Oh, you want, you don't get brother excited?
No,
It's like saying, we're going to Disney World. Oh, next year. When are we going?
we're going into, let's just say Louis is still 54,
Okay.
and he's a baller. He's a stud. But Lucille is, they're not the same age, right? She's a barista.
Ooh. Oh, Louis.
And,
Louis.
1990.
1990? You're right, this is fun.
it's 20 years there. Let's get this right.
1990. Okay. So how does his kid feel about this?
Oh, well, we're going to change that too because the child, the survivor, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, why is he with a 34-year-old?
I have some questions myself.
I have some questions. And let's say the 15-year-old might be from a previous marriage. Well, hold on a second. If homeboy is with her at 34 and this baby Jazz here is 15 already, like that's okay. That's not funny.
It's not funny, but I'd like to know some of this story. This is getting a little out there, Mister.
Okay, so let's make baby 1 year old.
Okay.
Okay, so they're together, right? Okay, they're committed. All right, and this would not happen unless Louis made like $250,000, right?
That's what you think?
$225,000.
That's what 20 years younger.
Yeah, he's gotta, and then of course she's a barista, right? So no offense to baristas, it could be.
She loves it. She loves her job. She just had a baby too.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. It could be anything. I shouldn't have said that.
So she's working part time. Oh no.
She's gonna make $25,000, right? She's make.
Yep.
Full time.
Take care of the
$12 an hour.
Okay.
Whatever. Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. So wow, how's this plan look now?
Now what? I see what you're doing.
Oh
here now.
wow. Oh, oof. That's a problem, right? It's not as good, but that's not the fun part. So if Louis lives to 90, it might even sink a little bit.
She's keeping him young.
Yeah. Okay, but this is about Social Security, not about fun.
But could you imagine? You're on the call with somebody, right? You're on the phone with Louis and Lucille. You work this out. Louis calls back later and goes, "Hey,
don't tell my wife.
Yeah, change the age to 34 and 1, please." Like, we got good stories here, but I've never had that happen. And he's like, you mean to tell me I can go be with a 34-year-old and still have a successful plan?
I have those stories.
But yes, we're getting to the fun part for you, Louis. You thought that was fun.
When you're in a planning meeting and there's like a generational gap, and it's spouses, it's not children. Boy, you will hear two different sides of like what's important. And I mean, if you're 34, you have a little bit of life. You know what's going on.
A little bit.
But if you're like a little younger,
I'm just saying.
It's fantastic. Like, great conversation.
That's some things. Like, you're working up this plan. Imagine Louis like, so you mean I end up, technically at this point, I would end up with more money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, that is correct.
Granted, he went out and got himself a better job there, but.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to throw a little.
Okay, let's get back on track.
All right, it's a little wrench in this. So Louis, he parties, gets into a car wreck at 63. Okay, so he's only with Lucille for a couple years.
Lucky her.
Right.
Okay.
Let this thing load. And now let's look at the Social Security. Let's look at the cash flows while they're taking Social Security, because there's some survivor benefits here.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Lucille being younger.
She's younger. Someone needs to take care of her.
Yep.
Right? Because, Sugar Daddy has been doing all the heavy lifting for a little bit.
He did a good job.
He did a great job. Okay, so obviously there is no Social Security for Louis in these first couple of years because he's still working.
And get there.
Or they're living on cash. And unfortunately, he passes away at 63. She's 44 at this time.
She just walked in like she owned the place. Did you see that? Haley just burst.
She's like, do I?
Man, that was confident. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, so she's going to have the $44,500.
Okay.
Assets
and all that.
Assets in that. And when she turns 60, she's going to get, or 62, she's going to have her retirement benefit and then, of course, the survivor's benefit.
Yep. So very important for her that she found Louis, and that's a lot of money.
If you got the IRA and the 401k, who's on the beneficiaries?
Yep.
Is it her or not? Like, it could be. Lucille. It could be a problem.
Well, check your beneficiaries, everybody. But I know that like Social Security is not most exciting thing to talk about, but those people that are interested in talking about it want you to go through it. You know, there's no 2-minute video on how it works. So we're trying that out today just to see what you guys think about that. And any other comments, questions?
Nah, there's Social Security is.
It is what it is, but unfortunately, it is fairly complex. And to find out what your best decision is for you in your life, that's what we're here for. Jazzwealth.com, marketing. Huh?
Yep.
Call Chris, operator standing by.
Give me a call. You know, we didn't talk about, blackout periods with Social Security if you have younger children.
Okay, so let's do that. Do you like this type of slower, like focused on the numbers Social Security? We could even do someone as an example there. So one of our clients or something that wants to do that. And then would you like us to continue with what he just said and even more? Let us know in the comments. Otherwise, you want a joke? No, I'm not going to do it.
Nah, no joke.
I'll save it. All right. Adios.
I mean, it's pretty good, but
It's a good one. Yeah. And because it's accurate. Tell me it was traced.
have a great day. Be great. End recording.